crafties, welcome to another video. My name's Infiniti and I am back again with another knitting tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to increase and decrease in knitting. So there's a couple methods for each. Hopefully this won't take too long, and without further ado I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first things first, I have this sample swatch here which was made using both techniques for increase and both techniques for decrease, and it kind of looks like a sweater sleeve to me. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. But I'm going to go about showing you guys how to kind of get this effect and how to go about the methodology. So I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to bring in my project that I have right now. So basically I knitted up a short little length. I think I cast on like 12 stitches, which doesn't matter too much because it won't be a project. It's just a swatch. So what I'm going to do is go about showing you guys how to increase. Now, this first method of increase is called the make one method, and it's super simple. Don't sweat it. So what I'm going to do is pick up my non-dominant needle, and I am going to knit two just to get away from the edge of the row. Now this is my favorite method of increase because it's so simple. Now I've knitted two. What I'm gonna do is, you guys see this little bar? Let me maybe zoom in. So I want you guys to have a good look at this. So you guys see this little bar. If I pull apart my stitches right here, there's a bar right here. I'm gonna be knitting into that. So I'm going to slip my needle back on my stitches, and what I'm going to do is insert my needle right below that bar, and I'm going to essentially yarn over and pull a loop up through there, and I'm going to slide it onto my non-working needle. And so that looks like a stitch that needs to be knitted, and then I would go about just knitting the stitches normal. And this essentially adds in a stitch. So now I'm going to knit a couple more stitches. So there's one, there's two, and I'm going to find that first bar between these two stitches. I'm going to insert my working needle, yarn over and pull up a loop underneath that bar and slide it onto my non-working needle. And I'm going to just knit as I normally would. So see, there's nothing to this method. In fact, I used this method on the skirt that I knitted earlier in the year for my portfolio review. I don't know if you guys have checked that out on Instagram yet. I'll provide a picture of it at the end of this video. But I'm going to go ahead, I've knitted another one, I'm going to knit another stitch. And then I'm going to insert my working needle under that first bar, yarn over, pull up a loop under that bad boy, and I'm going to slip him onto my non-working needle. And then I'm going to knit him. So then there's one and two, and I'm just going to repeat this process across this row. Just one and two. And I'm going to increase again. And knit him. And I'm going to make one more increase right in here. I'm going to knit him, and I'm going to knit the last two stitches on this row. Alright, and so now we have a row where we have increased. Now depending on your yarn, your increases may or may not be completely invisible. I noticed with this yarn it's a little chunkier than the other one I used. I think I'm using one of Red Heart's With Love yarns. So this one's a little bit thicker weight, and then I am using a 5mm or a 5.75mm knitting needle. So doing it that way, my stitches look more, how do I want to say that, even. You can't really see the increases in there. And that's what you want when you're increasing. Also for this tutorial, you're only going to be increasing on the knit side of your work. So I'm going to go ahead and do my purl row so I can continue on with my stocking pattern. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm back and I did my full row of purling. Now I am back on the knit side of my work, and I'm going to show you guys the second method of increasing, which is called knit front and back, or knit forward and backward. Either way, it'll be abbreviated KF and B in your pattern, or something similar to that nature. So what I'm going to do is pick up my needle, and I'm going to knit my first stitch, as always, to just keep my edges flat. Alright, and now what we're going to do is insert our needle knitwise into that next stitch, and we're just going to knit a stitch. But instead of slipping this guy off of here, we're going to go into the back. We're going to go into the back of this stitch, like so, and we are going to simply knit there as well. And this can be a little trickier to do, but I hope that I am showing you guys clear enough. And there we go. So sometimes you might have to use a crochet hook, but then you can pull it off your stitch and you have created an increase. And so I'm going to knit, just regularly knit a couple of extra stitches, and then we're going to knit front and back again. So that's inserting your needle knitwise into that next stitch and just knitting it, not slipping it off the needle, but going to the back and knitting there as well. And the further along you get while doing this, the easier it gets. So you'll see that I'm able to go into this stitch a little bit easier, and I am able to pull that loop up slightly easier as well, and I can slip him off of my needle. So as you can see, I'm increasing a lot, and it's being effective now. This is my least favorite method of increase because it is so fidgety and when you can just go into the bar, you know? We're not purling, we're knitting. So I'm going to knit. I knitted two. Now I'm going to knit again. I'm not going to pull it off, but I'm going to go into the back of the stitch and knit as well. And slide them off. So I'm going to continue to do this across the row. Alright, so I have been increasing this entire row, and as you can see, these also blend out or blend in quite seamlessly. So I have 2 more stitches to work on my non-working needle, and I'm going to be increasing into this next one. You never want to increase or decrease directly on the edge of your work, unless your pattern of course calls for it for whatever reason, but it just works out better when it's inward and away from the edges some. So what I'm going to do is make my final knit front and back stitch on this second to last stitch. Knit it but not pulling off, and then we are going to go around the back side of that same stitch, insert our needle, and we are going to, tricky guy, we're going to knit. Okay, and we're going to slide him off of our needle, and then we can just knit that last stitch as normal. Alright, so those are the 2 methods of increase that I have to show you guys today. So now I'm going to do my row of purling, and I'm going to meet you guys back to do our rows of decrease. Okay, crafties, I have finished my row of purling and I'm back on my knit side, but for the sake of time today, I am going to actually divide this video up into 2 parts. So go ahead and click the link down in the description below to go on to the second part of this tutorial and learn how to decrease your knitting stitches, and I'll see you then.